I am so excited because today we are going to be making a budget. We're going to be using a simple budget spreadsheet, and by the end of this video, if you follow along with me, you are going to have a complete budget that is ready to go, and you are also going to know exactly how much you need to save for your emergency fund. Now, if you want to follow along, go ahead and head to moneywithconfidence.com/IMP, and you can get your copy of this spreadsheet so that you can have a budget by the time we get done. But real quick before we get started, hello and welcome. I'm Natasha. I'm a money coach. I help you to create systems that make managing your money easy, and I help you learn to manage your money with confidence. My goal is to help 100 families per year to increase their financial situation and work towards financial independence. If you want to be one of those 100, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. All right, let's get into our spreadsheet. So this here is our intentional money plan. In this intentional money plan, the goal is that you become more intentional when it comes to your spending. You build awareness as to where your money is going, and then you be more intentional by deciding what do you want your money to do for you. All right, so starting at the top here, we are going to have a running ticker of what is available to spend. So once we put your income in there, then we'll see how much you have available to spend, and then as we plug the numbers in, we'll see based on what you want to do with your money, is there anything that's left over, or are you overspending based on what you want to do? What is happening within your spending? So on here, you will see this says monthly past cash flow. So ideally, you can look back over the last month or the last couple of months to see what has your spending been. It's a really good idea to get that view, but if you don't do that, that's okay. We can start by just going in and making a plan from where we are today. But it does have this column here for the monthly past cash flow, and then a second column for the intentional plan cash flow. Okay, let's jump in. So let's first start with the income section. What is the income that you expect on a monthly basis? And you're thinking about your net income. What is the income that hits your checking account? So I'm going to just put my number here. And then if you have a partner, you combine finances, you can put that there. If you've got other sources of income, child support, alimony, trust, side hustle, then you can add all your different incomes here. Feel free to rename any of these. The next little section here is for you to check the box if you expect a third check twice a year. So if you get paid every other week, then you will likely have 2 extra checks in the year. You are on a 26-week pay period. So for a lot of people, they may not even recognize that they have this third paycheck that comes in, or that paycheck just is rolled into everything else and it just gets spent out. But what I want you to do is to be aware of the fact if you do have a third paycheck, because then we can start spending on the monthly income that is 2 paychecks and viewing that third monthly paycheck as a bonus whenever it does come through. So that way you can use that bonus check as money to fund your vacation, money to pay down your debt, money to do whatever you want to do with it, but it doesn't have to get rolled into that monthly income, okay? And then check the box if you expect a bonus. So again, we don't want your bonus to get rolled into your money and to just go out as quickly as it comes in. We want you to be able to plan for that money. So be aware of if you expect a bonus, and our ultimate goal is that you're planning your monthly spending based off of the amount you typically earn on a normal basis. So that will be the first thing. Next thing is the investments before direct deposit. So now we're thinking before this paycheck hits your account, what are you investing in? Are you investing in your 401k, 401a, 403b? What type of investments are you making before this hits your paycheck through your employer? So let's say you're doing 3%. Then you might put that amount in there. And this is, again, a section here to build awareness. It's not going to affect our actual budget that we're creating, but this section here is just for you to be aware of, am I contributing to retirement? Where am I at, and where do I want to be? So I'm at 3%. Okay, now my next target is to get to 5%. So I want to work my way up to that 10 or 15% amount at least if I'm investing, trying to have a nice, healthy retirement. So that is to build your awareness as to what you are doing with your retirement investments through your employer. And then next is saving and investments after the money is direct deposited. So now we're back to what are you doing with the money that you get each month? Are you putting money into a Roth IRA? Are you putting money into a tax pool account? Are you putting money into a kid's college savings? Whatever you are saving for, those long-term investments that you are making, that's what you want to put here. So let's just say I'm doing $250 a month for the Roth IRA. and then another 50 into the taxable brokerage. My emergency fund, I'm gonna say I'm doing 50 into that. So you put in your numbers there for your savings and investments. So, and as you can see, this number has gone from 6,000 that we started with, and now it's down to the 5,650. So that's what we've got left as we start to plug in our bills. So the first section of bills is our fixed expenses. These are the things that are recurring. These are the bills. They happen every month. They're about the same each month. And so that's what we're putting down here. So I've already got some listed. There may be some missing here that you have that are not listed here. So feel free to go and put those in there. So one I have here is insurance. So if you pay your insurance on a every 6 months basis or once a year basis, then you will not put your insurance costs here. These are only the things that definitely come out of your account every single month. You will put insurance in the non-monthly section, okay? We've got 3 groups of how we're gonna split our money in here: fixed money, flexible money, non-monthly. The fixed is the stuff that happens every single month. That is a bill, it's recurring. And then the flexible is for where we can choose how we want to spend the money in that category. And the non-monthly is for the stuff that doesn't happen every month, but we still need to account for, okay? All right, so I'm gonna plug in some numbers here. Let's just say we've got that. Let's say we don't have childcare. Let's say we have student loans, credit card debt payment. So if you have debts, then here for credit card debt payments, you would want to put your minimum monthly payment. What is the minimum amount that you are expected to pay for these credit cards? That's where you can start. If you want to pay extra, then obviously we'll come back and add that in. But you want to make sure that you can cover all of your expenses before you add any extra to the credit cards. So put in whatever your credit card minimums are. If you've got a car loan, you can put that in there. Any child activities that happen monthly that you're paying for, martial arts, swimming, karate, all of that stuff, put that in there. Charity and tithes, if you give to charity and tithes on a monthly basis and you want to add that in there. Transportation. So some people like to put transportation in the fixed section. Some people like to put transportation in the flexible section. You decide what makes the most sense for you. That's your car gas, your bus fare, that kind of stuff, and put it in the one that makes the most sense for you. Once you've got all of that in there, then you can see, okay, on my fixed expenses, the bills and the recurring expenses, this is how much that I have to spend each month, $2,600, okay? And then we're gonna skip over the flexible because it'll be easier if we skip that and jump down to the non-monthly, okay? And we'll jump down to the non-monthly and put in how much do you need to save on a monthly basis to save for these things that are on your non-monthly list. So let's say we're saving for Christmas. We wanna save $1,200 and we wanna have this money saved by November. We wanna be able to get our shopping done by the time November gets here. So let's say it's June right now, July, August, September, October, November. So within 5 months, I want to have $1,200 saved. So I'll take 1,200 and grab my calculator, and then we'll divide that by 5 to see how much do we need to save over those 5 months to have that money by the time November comes around. So that'll be $240. And then travel, how much do you want to save on a monthly basis for your travel? So you can think of this in how much time do you have left until you need that money? Break it down into the monthly amount you need to save to have that money whenever you need it, okay? So on here, we have talked about this before. We do have the non-monthly expenses spreadsheet to help you figure this out. But this non-monthly expenses one is going to determine it based off of saving over a 12-month period. So if you don't have 12 months to save for these different things, then you want to break it down into, okay, I need this in the next 3 months. How much do I need to save in order to have this amount in 3 months, okay? So I will plug in a couple more numbers in here. Auto maintenance, home maintenance, tech upgrade. Think about these things like tech upgrade. Are you going to upgrade your computer? Are you going to upgrade your cell phone? You want to be thinking about that stuff because these things are not cheap. So you want to add these into your non-monthly expenses. And then let's say I've got those covered. I'll put 50 here. All right. So now I can look and see whatever is left available to spend. That's the amount that I have can go to my flexible spending. So up here, if I wanted to, I could just put in this full amount, 25, 65, and say, I'm just gonna split it up into this however I want to. But what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna think specifically about groceries and car gas because those are things that I know that I would need even if I were not working, I would still need income to cover that. And I want to mark that as a necessity on here. So let me back up just a second. So in this first section, once we get to the expenses, you'll see this necessity column. And in this necessity column, it has a check mark. So if there is a check by it, that means this item here, I have to pay it if I have income or not. So I need to account for this for my emergency fund. So checking this means even if I don't have a job, I'm still gonna have to pay for whatever expense it is over here. So that's what these check marks mean. Feel free to uncheck anything if you see something on here like, oh, if I am out of a job, I am actually going to ask for a pause on my student loans. So I'm gonna uncheck that. I'm not gonna keep that one as a necessity. So that it's not accounted for in my emergency fund. So this box here, this column here is for you to be able to determine how much you need for an emergency fund. So like I said, I've got $25.65 left. I'm going to give myself $1,000 for groceries and then say I'm going to need at least $250 for car gas so that I can have these amounts accounted for when I do my emergency fund. And then I still have $13.15 that can go to all of this other stuff. So I can just put that total amount. Now I'm just going to put everything else. I'll put other. Because when it comes to the flexible spending, you can do something that's called mindful spending, or that's what I like to do. You don't have to, you can put dollar amounts to these, but with mindful spending, you're like, okay, I know I have $25.65 that I can spend on all of these different categories here. I'm just going to be mindful of my spending and stay within that spending amount, not going over that amount. So you kind of like separate your money into little buckets so that it makes budgeting easier for you. Okay. All right. So now I've got $0 left over, so that means this is my budget and my budget is intact. Now let's pretend like, let's say I actually did go and put specific numbers here, and for this one I had been at 1,000. If that's so, it's going to show me, oh, I'm over budget, so I need to make some changes. I need to cut some things out. I need to do a little better so that I can be spending within my income levels. So this will tally up for you. How much are you spending? Are you spending within your means? Are you spending within the amount of income you have, or are you overspending? Let's scroll down on this so you can see the summary section. So on the summary section, it's going to show you what's the income that you expect on a monthly basis, how much you put towards savings and investments, how much you're planning to put towards fixed expenses, your flexible expenses, and your non-monthly, and how much you have left over. And then there's also a visual, so you can see that as well. So if you've got money left over, you're going to see that, or you're going to see it into the negative, whichever way it is, okay? And then down below, you're going to see those emergency fund stuff. So anything that has a check mark by it up there in that flexible or necessity column, anything over here that's got a check mark by it, that's going to be pulled into this emergency fund number here. So we'll see the fixed, the flexible, the non-monthly, what it is for 1 month for each one of those different buckets of money. But then when you keep scrolling down, you'll see for 1 month emergency, this is the amount I need. For 3 months of emergency fund, this is how much I need. For 6 months, this is how much I need. All right. So that is how you can make a simple budget. That's it. You figure out your bills, put that number down, figure out your non-monthly expenses, put that number down. Whatever is left, that's what you actually have available to spend on everything else, okay? Hopefully this has been helpful. I would love to know if you use a budget spreadsheet, if you use a budgeting tool. Let me know in the comments, what are you using to get your budget together? Or do you not even keep a budget at all? All right. If you enjoyed this video, I know you're going to enjoy some of the others I've been making, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.